Hello, and welcome to this demo of Phantom Security Group's evasive payload generator, EvadeX. Now, once you log into your portal for EvadeX, you're going to see this dashboard here. And this is where you can generate that entire payload that evasive payload that you want to bypass any sort of EDR that you're going up against during an engagement. And so we're going to start off by just setting a quick name for it. So testing 123, just call it demo because we're here. And now you have the option to upload a shellcode or exe file, or you can choose one of the pre-configured payload options below. So I'm just going to upload some Havoc C2 shellcode, and then we can choose DLL, EXE, XLL, or SX output types. I'm just going to leave it at EXE. From here, we can choose how we're going to encrypt that shellcode. So we can encode it with base 32 encoding, or we can AES 256 encrypt it. From here, we're going to choose our execution type. So execute via thread pool, fibers, or using a modified Caracan execution technique. We're just going to leave it at thread pool for this. You can set the execution delay. We're just going to set it for 0.1 minutes. Now down here, you can choose a bunch of different options. By default, it has anti-debug enabled. It camouflages the import address table, and it unhooks all loaded DLLs. We can also set it to do a hostname check. So we could say only on machines that start with Phantom, put a wildcard in there, can it be executed on. So we've set that. In here, we can also change the date that the binary was created. So it is able to modify the file attributes as well as the file itself to set whatever date and time that you pick out. We can set here the file name. We can specify the output format. So when we download it, we're going to download it as a zip, and inside of there, we can have any of these packed payload options. So we can set it to be packed inside of an ISO or a VHD archive, that sort of thing. We can also set a kill date, so it can only be executed past a certain date. So let's just set it for a few days out. And from there, we can go down here and we can modify it. So we're going to set the Slack icon. We're going to set, we can set testing company name, or whatever other options we want, product version. So this is all the file metadata. And then here we can also self-sign the binary. So test, test. But we could also steal a signature from an existing binary by uploading it there. And then finally, we have the watermark options. So you can custom watermark any of your payloads. So you can do that by editing the DOS stub, or you can add a custom section name and generation ID to the payload itself. I'm going to leave that blank for now. So now with all these options, we've uploaded our shellcode, selected what we want. We're going to click submit. So now it's uploaded. It's going through, and here we can see that it is currently processing. And from here, while we wait, it will take a little bit of time because each image is spun up as needed, and you get your own isolated image. It's not generated and uploaded to a collective machine that has all these different people's shellcode on it, all these different generations for payloads going on at the same time. You get your own instance. It's all separate, all private. Now, while we're waiting on that, we'll just show that we have real-time protection enabled, cloud delivered protection. Automatic sample submission is turned off for this test, just because we prefer not to have our samples uploaded to Microsoft. And you can see our exclusions here are set to the temp folder only. So that's where our shellcode was. So as we, right here, hit refresh, I can also show off these other options here. So we have our API keys that you can generate. So if you want to integrate this into some pipeline for generating payloads for each operation or whatever need, you can create that here. And you can set a little webhook here, so it will let you know when payload generation is complete and in progress. And if I click generate, I'll be able to copy that API key and use it however I need. We have Swagger documentation for our APIs. It's all set up for you to use. So now our payload has finished generating. So we're going to go ahead and click downloads. Downloads right there. You can see it right here in our downloads folder. So go ahead and go into that folder right there. And we'll see we have multiple files here. The first one being this IOC file, which will contain the generation timestamp, MD5 hash, SHA-1 and SHA-256 hashes of the payload. We'll have the payload itself, and then whatever archive type you had selected. So by default, it is a zip file with the password of Phantom. And so if we take this zip file, pull it out, go into downloads, and from downloads, we go up and pull out this output. Replace whatever is there. And now we can simply double click this. Smart Screen will pop up because it is a zip file, which by default Smart Screen is able to imprint on. But other output types such as VHD or VHDX, things of that type are able to get around Smart Screen. Now we have it running. You can view it here. It is running. And if we pull up our terminal, pull up Havoc client, you'll authenticate here. You can see that we have, last check-in was about a second ago, we just got a response from our payload. So if we interact with that, we just task it with a list current directory command. So we'll wait a few seconds for it to call back and check in. With that, that shows that our real-time protection is enabled. Everything's enabled except for automatic sample submission. And with that, we just bypassed Windows Defender. Nice and easy.